Hello, my name is Jim Schupenhauer, and I'm putting together this video because I want to describe my first real estate transaction, which was a wholesale / bird dog transaction. My goal is to tell you how this transaction came about, how it happened, and why I was able to be successful at closing it. Every week I spend about a 30-minute phone call with my trainer Karen, and we go over various items that can help me move my real estate practice along. She had introduced me to a website where I was able to identify sellers that had multiple properties and that they might be interested in selling them for various reasons. So I put together a list. My first list was 65 prospects, so I decided to mail out a mailing piece to them. I hand addressed the envelopes, printed the letters and put them in, put stamps on, and mailed it out. About 4 or 5 days after that first mailing, I received a call from a gentleman, a seller, who had a property that he was interested in selling. I knew fairly quickly that he was pretty motivated because his first questions revolved around, is this an all cash transaction, or how soon can you close, and leading questions like that. I asked him about the property, the condition, and identified that it was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, that it had been painted and carpeted about 7 months ago. So the condition seemed pretty good. I also asked him why he was selling it, and he said that he needed the money for some legal fees that he had accumulated. He told me that he had bought it 7 months ago, paid cash, for $41,000. I asked him what was the least he would take. He said $35,000. He also mentioned that it was a rental, and it was producing $650 a month of rent, and that the renters had been there since he bought it, and they have paid on time for the last 7 months. So I decided that I'd probably go out and look at it sometime. But he came back and asked me if I could look at it the next day. So that also told me that he was pretty motivated. So let's stop at this point and go back a week or so. And I was at a real estate investment club meeting. And at this meeting, the participants stood up and told who they were and what they were doing in the real estate area and what type of properties they were looking for and what their game plan was. And Nick was one of the gentlemen that stood up, and he was very direct and a no-nonsense type person, and I kind of noticed him because of that. After the meeting, I went up and got his business card and decided I'd probably give him a call in a week or so. So let's go back to the story of the seller. He, wanting to have me come over and see the property so fast, also told me that he might not want to take the time to go through the regular process of wholesaling a property and then finding a buyer. So right then and there I decided I'd give Nick a call and have him come along with me and go over and see the property. I trusted Nick right away, and I had no problems with doing that without even a contract with him. So the next day, Nick and I met the seller at the property, and of course, most properties usually turn out to be in worse shape than was described over the phone, and this was no exception. When we got there, we went inside, talked to the renter a little bit. It was a family with a baby, and they had no complaints about the property. So Nick and I went back outside and started negotiating with the seller. Nick has been in the business about 8 or 9 years, and he's a very good negotiator, very experienced. He knew the area where this property was in, and he knew what we should be paid for it approximately. We negotiated back and forth, and one negotiating technique was Nick asked the seller how much cash would he absolutely have to have now, and could he carry any of the other cash purchase. The seller mentioned that he needed all the cash now, and we ended up negotiating a price of $28,500. This included my fee of $1,750, which Nick knew about all the time during the negotiation. The seller was told that he would be responsible for any taxes that might be due or cleaning up a title if a cloudy one existed, and that the $28,500 would be net to him with no closing costs.